Lawyers, what's a law that isn't real that normal people insist exists? In the UK, people often claim that if an item is listed for sale in a shop, then the shop legally has to sell it to you at that price. This is not true at all, as the shop doesn't have to sell you anything at any price. Often as a gesture of goodwill, shops will honor erroneous prices, but they are under absolutely no obligation to do so. Back when I had a goldfish, Rip Carl, I went to Pets at Home to buy him a bigger tank. It rang through at £0. Checkout girl raises an eyebrow, we share a laugh. She messes about with the system a bit more, but all she gets is £0, so she calls her supervisor. We wait a few minutes, a few more, the queue is building behind me. Eventually she shrugs, prints a receipt for £0 and sends me on my way with my free fish tank. Good day for me and Carl. Edit. So glad my most upvoted post is one about my old fishy friend, also thanks for the little blobby guild thing. That commercial use of a photograph means selling the photograph. Commercial use means that there is an implied endorsement. You can take and sell photos of Eric Clapton all day long. Put that same photo in an advertisement for a certain guitar without a release and you can be sued. Probate attorney here. I've had many people ask me when the reading of the will is going to take place. I explain to them that only happens in movies. But one of these days I am going to have one, and hire a mysterious blonde wearing a veil to sit in the corner quietly. Then I'll tell everyone that she inherits everything. Provided, of course, that she must adopt the decedent's cute but troublemaking 6-year-old child no one knew about. Or she can spend the night in a haunted house. Her choice. There will now be a requirement for such a mysterious lady's presence at the reading of my will, written into my will. Along with a handful of burly yet solemn fellows, dressed in stereotypical G-man attire, complete with sunglasses and earpieces. One will be Russian, or at least able to fake the accent consistently, and should only be curtly acknowledged by the others. Every one of them should be entirely vague about how they knew me except from business, and the men should all refuse to acknowledge the presence of the veiled woman, and feign terror if compelled to look at her. My dad spent his whole career doing probate and can't count how many people have inquired about the reading of the will. I believe on a couple of occasions he's actually staged them, because it was the only way to get the whole family to come sit down in a room and actually listen to what the fucking will says, and why not do it if he can bill the estate for the hours it takes him to clean up the conference room and then read a piece of paper at a bunch of morons. Edit. I just talked to my dad on the phone and brought this up, and he pointed out another reason that he's sometimes asked to a reading of the will. If the deceased has chosen to leave a lot more to one heir than to other heirs, normally the winner wants the staged will reading so that the losers all find out in a ritualized way from the lawyer in a formal law office, instead of from family gossip. It makes it feel more official and, in my dad's words, the rest of the heirs are a little less likely to pull out the revolvers when they find out mom did have a favorite. Fellow probate attorney here. My first boss actually conducted a reading of a will once because the family absolutely insisted that he do it and wouldn't accept any explanation as to why it was unnecessary. So we packed about 8 people into our conference room and the bossman somberly read out the deceased's last will and testament. Bonus, it was a pour-over will. So it didn't say anything of substance, and then we explained to the assembled family members that only the beneficiaries of the trust had any legal right to read it. I am a lawyer. This is not a law that doesn't exist, but a law that is misunderstood. Typically, you can't just go get a restraining order against anybody. Most states have specific laws for who you can get restraining orders against, typically household members or former romantic interests. Usually, it's only in domestic violence cases or for victims of crimes. You can't just get a restraining order and comically use it to keep someone 100 feet away. Asterisk in the United States, at least. My father who is a lawyer, policemen cannot lie to you. This is false. They can and they do. Edit. There's so many replies that I cannot even find some of the ones I'd like to respond to, so I want to leave a general note for those who have asked for a reference. Frazier vs. Cupp is the Supreme Court ruling that affirmed the legality of deceptive interrogation tactics in 1969. The ruling is still active. NAL, but here's one that bounces around legal advice every couple months. The age of majority in Mississippi is 21, so people say your parents control your life until then and you can't move out without permission until you are 21. The truth is that the law means they have an obligation to provide for you until you are 21, you can move out at 18 and not face any penalty or be forced to return. Although the age for Mississippi emancipation is officially 21, this only refers to emancipation from a parent's obligation to support their young adult financially. In Mississippi, individuals age 18 and older may vote, enter into legal contracts, take legal action against others and be sued for damages. Similarly, an individual age 18 or older who moves out of his parents' home is not considered a runaway in Mississippi and is not legally required to return to the family home.